Hey friends, so in this part of the user manual, I want to walk through the tone scope that's in MIDImorphosis 2. This is a display that will show you the frequencies of a guitar and let you know a little bit more about what's happening on tone-wise. Down to the bottom is a fast Fourier transform, and I'm going to try to give you an idea of exactly what that means. I've also got the Spectral eye display in here. Same sort of information, displayed a little bit more in a way that a musician might be able to make sense of it. While I was working on the app, one thing I noticed was that different guitars, different pickup combinations were easier or harder to detect the pitch of, and that sort of sent me down a rabbit hole of guitar tone to figure out exactly what was going on. And so here in this video, I'm going to try to get everybody up to speed about why things sound the way they do, why a Telecaster neck pickup sounds different than the bridge, and why a Tele sounds different than a Les Paul. And in the app, built in a bunch of tools to really let you see and get a good feel. So it's not just one's brighter or warmer or whatever. You can actually measure some stuff and approach it scientifically. To help get you up to speed, some of the physics, some of the math is pretty gnarly. So I'm trying to make it not as scary as it can be and a little bit easier to get your head wrapped around. So over on the web, MIDImorphosis.com/tone, I've got a little web demo you can play with to sort of understand what's happening with your guitar. So grab a tape measure, grab your guitar, we'll pop over to the web for a few minutes. I'll walk you through what's happening on that web page. And then once you've got that under your belt, we'll go back here to the app and go into more detail on the tone scope and Spectral eye. All right, so let's head over to the web, and there's some things you can check out. It's over at MIDImorphosis.com/tone, and if you want to play around with your own guitar and the tape measure, this would be a good time to do it. So what we've got here is a simulation of the string vibration. So on the graph here, over on the left would be the nut, over on the right-hand side would be the bridge. That vertical line is going to be the pickup location, and that's going to be important in a second. So when you pluck a string, it's going to woggle back and forth, up and down, and it's going to do a little bit of this motion that you see here, but it's also going to be doing something else. It's what's called the second harmonic. And if you study some physics, this is one thing they've really gone into. So your string is also going to be vibrating something like this. You'll note two tops and bottoms here, sort of a split in two. There's also a third harmonic that looks something like this. There's a fourth harmonic, something like this, and they just keep going. And there's something important to sort of understand about physics and how strings operate. The frequency, the speed at which the fundamental happens, let's say it's an A note, which goes 110 times per second, up and down. That's the fundamental at 110. The second harmonic is going to be exactly twice that at 220. So if your A note is, the fundamental is 110, you've got 220. There's also 330. That's going to be this third harmonic at 3 times the speed. Fourth harmonic at 4 times the speed. This is just physics. This is the way things vibrate in the real world. It's just how sound works. So a couple interesting things, and in particular, I'm going to focus on a Telecaster here for a second. We've got all these going on, and they're all combined to something that looks like this. See the red line? I'll turn off the other harmonics. When you pluck the string, it's actually going to be doing something like this, sort of splashing back and forth, up and down, doing some sort of crazy motion. The pickup is going to detect what is happening in the string at the spot directly over the pickup. What happens to the left and right, pickup doesn't care. It's just over the pickup itself. And so the audio signal that comes out of your guitar and goes in the amplifier looks a little bit like this thing, this green line. It's going to wiggle up and down, tracking along with the string right over the pickup. And here's, let's have a little bit of fun. One thing that impacts the tone of your guitar is the location of the pickup. And so if you shift the pickup down, let's move it over closer to the bridge. The signal that you get is going to be a little bit different. And if you move it over to closer to the nut, different again. What makes one guitar sound different than another, a Telecaster versus Les Paul or whatever you might have, a PRS, is going to be the location of the pickups relative to the scale length. That's a huge difference. So let me put this back on, actually let me put this back on the neck. So there's something really interesting that you should note with the Telecaster. Let me turn this guy off, harmonics, back on. Pick position for a Telecaster is 6.375 inches away from the bridge. Scale length, normally 25.5 inches long. This is the fourth harmonic. You'll note that the spot directly above the pickup really isn't moving, which means the guitar is not going to detect the fourth harmonic of the string. Open string, fourth harmonic, not going to be part of the sound. If I want to look at fretting, that's going to change the effective scale length of the string. So it's going to move where all of the harmonics are. So let me fret at the fifth here. It's going to change the effective scale length down to 19.1 inches. Fourth harmonic, now popping up. You can hear the fourth harmonic, but interestingly enough, third harmonic, now going to drop out. That's where the vibration is going to be located. And so when you fret at the fifth on a Telecaster with the neck pickup, you will not hear the third harmonic. The string is doing it, so it's still happening. It's simply you're not looking at the right spot with the pickup. This chart down here sort of shows you what's going to happen with the guitar as you fret on different frets. So open fret, fourth harmonic not showing up, also multiples of 4. Eighth harmonic out, 12th, 16th harmonic. You're going to be right at the spot where the string doesn't move and you don't detect anything. If I fret here on the 5th, then third harmonic can drop out and close to nothing. Also 6th, 9th, 12th, and 15th. I've got this table sort of highlighted. Bright yellow is going to be stuff that you hear this strong. The darker colors and often the deep purple is going to be stuff that you don't actually hear very much. And so where the pickup is on the string relative to the string length can be a huge impact on the overall tone of the guitar. And if you've got your guitar handy and a tape measure, do some measurements. Plug in the numbers, see what you got. So this may all sound interesting and fun, but we're going to pop back over to the app for a second and run some of these experiments and sort of show you how this works. The white line here is from an actual guitar string. So this is the signal coming in, and we'll have a FFT or fast Fourier transform down at the bottom and some historical stuff. So let's go back over to the app. All right, so back in the app now. And what we've got, actual Fender Telecaster. I had this guitar for pretty much forever. And I'm on the neck pickup here. And just so you know that the physics, not just a bunch of hot air, let me play an A. And you'll see the squiggly line at the top. That's the actual signal coming off the guitar. That's what the guitar is producing. And you'll note the spikes down at the bottom. Some stuff happening here. So as I play the A string, that is the fundamental. That's the second harmonic. That's the third harmonic. And you note the fourth harmonic, not very strong. Fifth, sixth, on down the line. It's because of where the pickup is. If I switch to a different pickup, let me go over to the bridge. Fourth harmonic, much brighter. All based on where the pickup is physically. No changes to the wood, no changes to the string. This is why pickup location matters. Everybody and their dog talks about tone wood or the shape of the headstock or nitrocellulose lacquer versus poly or what. I don't care. I don't care. Pickup position is the thing that actually matters. That's really freaking interesting. And this is hopefully gets you an idea of why things sound different depending on where you fret. So when on a Telecaster with the neck pickup, you fret at the 3rd fret or 5th fret, the 3rd harmonic drops out. So let me go, here is an open A. See the 4th harmonic dropped out? And go to the E string, play an A there, up on the 5th fret. See the 3rd harmonic drop out, 4th harmonic's there. That's why they sound different. It's simply because you're picking up different harmonics. And this goes across all the fret. So we do a D there. Hopefully you can hear the tone difference. A couple things you can do on the tone scope display here in MIDImorphosis. If I tap over here, I'm going to be able to change the scaling of the FFT. So tapping over on the left-hand side, actually let me do it with this guy. And you can also change the scaling. So I'm doing cutoff based on decibels. Tap here in the middle. Change a little bit of the scaling so you can see a little bit more of the range if you want. And if you want to freeze the display and see what's going on, over along the left-hand side. It's going to freeze things. And so you've got 1st harmonic, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, on down the line. Pretty cool, right? Pretty cool. So there's another display where this is a conventional FFT. And actually, let me hit, before you pop over the next one, this white line here, actual audio signal. And up here is history as the note plays. So let me unfreeze this guy. And so as the note rings, most of the energy of the string goes towards the lower harmonics. So you'll have some sort of high-pitched, high-frequency harmonics at the start, and they'll fade out. Energy will go into the lower strings, and it's going to actually fluctuate as the note rings. So let me go here for a second. You can sort of see some of the harmonics come in, come out, part of the shape of the note as it plays. So you've got that. It's all color-coded, so the 12 different pitches and then the scale show up as different colors to let you see what's going on. Let me pop over to the Spectral display. Now, one of the troubles I had when I was developing the app was figuring out what notes is somebody playing so I can turn it into MIDI and control the synthesizer. And off the top of my head, okay, I don't know 110, okay, that's an A, but 330, 550, hard on the brain. So what I've got here is a little bit of a different fast Fourier transform display. It's taking the notes to play, the frequencies, and wrapping them around in a spiral, round and round and round. Every octave is one rotation around. So we'll hit an A here. And so you can see this cluster of notes, cluster of frequencies around here. That's going to be the low A. Also, so 110, 220, 440, 880, all going up and down this sort of axis. And let me digress and tell you an interesting story. A zillion years ago, I was in band as a little kid, and I was scratching my head wondering, why are there 12 notes in the scale? Why not 17? Why not 4? Why not 9? Why 12? Band teacher didn't know, so he made up some bull, and it annoyed the heck out of me. And it's always bothered me. Building this, light bulb sort of went on. You've got 110, 220, 330. That is not an A. 330 is actually really close to an E. Note these frequencies, 330, 660 showing up. Those are multiples of the A. So an E, in terms of frequency, shows up and has some common frequencies with your A. Another one that's going to show up, notice the C sharp here. Turns out that if you take the multiples of the harmonic frequencies of whatever note, and so you've got A, it's going to land on a couple other spots around this sort of circular octave chart. And if you grab a B, it's going to land on a couple of spots, and it's going to C, it's going to land on a couple of spots. And it winds up being really close to a nice division into 12 equally spaced things around this circle. And it's just the way the notes vibrate, it's just the way physics and the universe works, that 12 works out to be a really nice division. And that's where the Western scale comes from. It's to sort of capture what's going to happen just by nature, by physics and the universe doing what it's going to do. So you've got this division of 12, A at 110, and it's also got frequencies for E and C. So I've got an A here. Here's an E. Here's another A. Here's a C sharp. A major chord. Pretty wild, right? So the major scale and a lot of the major chords really just, can you line up the frequencies, all these component notes, so that the frequencies mesh nicely and play nice together. That's where the 12 scale says. So that's what's going on with the tone scope and spectral eye displays in MIDImorphosis 2. Hopefully this is interesting, and if you're playing guitar and you're wondering about the tone and trying to figure out what's happening with the tone, you can throw it into the tone scope or the spectral eye and see a little bit more of what's going on.